Hello and welcome to another episode of the Super Subject podcast. My name is Liam and I'm joined by my fellow Super Subject, Brett and Lockie.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
You guys?
Good, and yourself? Had a good week?
Yeah, not too bad.
Enjoy the football?
Yeah. It's been a positive week, I would say, on all fronts.
I'm a happy gooner tonight. I can say that for sure.
I think I preferred the midweek game rather than the weekend. But
We win some, you lose some.
yeah, I mean, I've watched much better Leeds games than that. It was very boring, so the least said about that, the better.
Not often you say that though about Leeds game.
No, and we did have chances, but we just didn't work Martinez at all. And I found out after the game he had a groin strain. That's why he wasn't taking the goal kicks. But yet we weren't hitting the target, making him work at all. I think with their goal, El Ghazi, fair play to him for being alert. But I'm pretty sure Watkins was going for goal, scuffed his shot, and it's landed right at El Ghazi's feet. Good finish though. Can't really complain. They defended well, and that's my analysis of the Leeds game this weekend.
When I saw El Ghazi score, I looked up and I just saw Watkins on his ass.
I've just seen the replay. He's literally hit the ball, slipped over, and to be fair, everyone slips over on that pitch. That pitch is dreadful. Can't wait for them to sort that out in the summer.
That's what you get for buying something off Tottenham.
Well, that's it. But El Ghazi was alert to it, and fair play to him. Caught us out, got the early goal, and they held on.
I think I messaged you after the game saying that Villa did to you exactly what they did to us. Score early and just defended well.
Yeah, they were solid at the back. I mean, we had a couple of chances. Tyler Roberts probably should be scoring in the first half. And then Rafinha header, but he hit it wide. Would like to have seen him at least test the keeper. But apart from that, it weren't really much going on for us. It was a very lacklustre performance from our perspective. Hopefully we can pick it up this weekend. Well, Monday night anyway.
Are you not back until Monday?
No, we got West Ham on Monday. So when we record the next podcast, we won't have anything to talk about for Leeds for the first time, which may be a blessing.
I don't quite understand why there are some teams playing midweek games and some are not. Because I think quite a few of the teams are on 26 games now.
Yeah, I know Villa had quite a few to catch up from COVID postponements, but yeah, I'm not sure either.
Well, they usually have a Monday night game though anyway, don't they? I mean, the only reason we played against Southampton on Tuesday, which was a great result by the way, was because our match with them earlier in the season got postponed.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a few matches, I think it's tomorrow and Wednesday, isn't there, I think?
Yeah, it's got a few midweek.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Thursday.
Oh, and Thursday, Spurs are playing Thursday.
Liverpool-Chelsea Thursday, I believe.
That's a good game. I hope that ain't as boring as the United game yesterday. Jesus.
That was a dead cert 0-0 though, wasn't it? Let's be honest. They're always 0-0. All these big Sunday games, they build up to be the best in the league, the best the league has to offer, and they end up being 0-0.
Yeah, that 4:30 kickoff is a bit of a curse, really.
It is, yeah. They've just shown a graphic on Sky tonight for United's last games versus the so-called Big Six this season. So, in all the games that they played, the last 4 against the Big Six have all been 0-0. And in all the games against the Big Six this year, they've only scored 1 goal. And that was when they lost 6-1 to Spurs.
Are you counting Spurs in the Big Six then?
Well, they are.
Oh, they may have to review that next season, but we'll talk about that later. But on that game, I mean, that game should never have been 0-0,
no,
really, because if what Luke Shaw's saying is true, then there's massive controversy coming out of that game with the Callum Hudson-Odoi handball.
I've heard that that's now been retracted.
So they're saying it's not true.
Yeah.
So Luke Shaw just made it up.
Well, either that or the reporter misinterpreted what they'd said.
It's a bit fishy out of the way, isn't it, really?
It is, yeah.
Nothing will come of it. Everyone would have just been told to shut up and get on with it.
Yeah. I can't make my mind up whether it was a pen or not. When I first saw it, I thought, nah, it's not. But the more I look at it...
When you see the steel shot, the ball hitting the hand. It hits his hand and his arm is not in a natural position.
No.
I've seen penalties for a lot worse this season. So you have to give it, in my opinion.
I just can't put my finger on what is or what isn't. My brain just goes through all these. Is that supposed to be, or is that a rule, or is it not? Like, what have we moved from over the shirt? Or
the issue I have with it is they go on about this natural body position, but yet your natural body position isn't your arms always down by your side. If you're running or moving, you need your arms for balance. So your arms are not necessary because they go on about a silhouette, don't they, or something?
I believe so.
It's a very difficult one.
Did you think it was a natural position?
See, the more I look at it, I'm not convinced. But then
No.
watching it, Greenwood goes to knock it with his arm, doesn't he?
Yeah, sort of shoulders it, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a few this weekend. Obviously, the Ndidi one for Arsenal, that was pretty obvious that had to be given.
Yeah, I called that as a penalty in real time.
There was another one, I think West Brom gave one away, and literally this guy was like slam dunking the ball in the corner box. I think his hand was higher than the other guy's head, and I think that got given. So those two are pretty like bang on. So that's nice to see. But when you've got these kind of iffy ones that no one really knows what to do, and you've got the referee questioning himself and not making his gut feeling, it's just I don't know. I'm not sure.
Just proves how difficult it is to interpret the rule. The fact that between the three of us, we've probably viewed it loads of times, and we still can't decide whether it was or whether it wasn't.
The one thing I would say is, like, do you think it's a clear and obvious error? And that's what I was looking at first.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure it was a clear and obvious error. It's only when you see the still,
Yeah.
and like when you see the still, I think Stonewaller for me. But in real time, when you're watching it, is it a clear and obvious error? Possibly not, and that might be why it didn't get given.
So that makes you wonder then if if he had given it first time round, whether they would have stuck with that decision.
Well, you have to, I think, in that scenario.
Yeah, they can't decide that it's wrong, and surely they can't decide that it's right as such.
Exactly.
To
Yeah.
some, like in those,
Yeah.
in again, it's just adding another spanner to the works. Like, yeah, it just frazzles your brain thinking about it.
I mean, as far as the game was concerned, there wasn't many talking points from it, was there really?
No.
I mean, Fernandez goes missing yet again in a big game.
Yeah, it's a weird old stat that, but it's definitely there to see.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a very good player and he does very good against the so-called. I don't like this big and small terms, but against the teams they expect to beat, he does make the difference for them for sure.
And poor old Sheffield United lost again.
They're just not good enough, are they?
No, I caught up on Match of the Day earlier, the Match of the Day 2, and then I think one of the pundits said, Chris Wilder basically just said, look, we're preparing for the championship. Like, it is what it is. Like, we're not going to beat around the bush anymore. We're just going to crack on. And whether that sort of just takes the pressure off a little bit in the hope that they can transform some absolute miracle, which is probably not going to happen, but it just sort of, the weight's been lifted as such, so they're not going to, they know what they're doing, and if by chance it happens and they can get a run going, fair enough, but at least they're being honest with themselves.
He said in his interview, our budget's for a 17th place finish in the Premier League, and when we're looking in the transfer market, we're looking at the best Championship players. I think that says it all, really. They're trying to compete just to stay up because of what their budget is, which is fair enough. They're not one of the bigger clubs in the Premier League. He's definitely a realist, Chris Wilder.
Definitely, and I think they've done it in a certain way that they didn't get carried away with last season, where they definitely overachieved. They didn't get carried away in the summer, go and spend millions and millions of pounds that they couldn't really afford because they assumed that they were safe in the Premiership. They kept themselves very self-sustained, should I say. And now, let's face it, they probably are going to go down. But they've not put themselves in a position where they're going to be financially hamstrung, should I say. And they're in a position where I think, they will go down, but I think they'll be in a strong position to come back up again. I think they're going to be one of them teams, maybe.
Yeah, I can't see many of those players wanting to leave too much, thinking that they're better than Sheffield United in the Championship.
I don't think so, because a lot of them were with them when they came out the first time.
Yeah, and in terms of the quality that they have, okay, as you say, they overachieved, and that was wonderful to see. Obviously now sort of the true colours have come out this season. Hope next season they will just sort of stick it out for Wilder's sake and give it another go, I suppose.
I think you'd be comparing them to a Norwich, doing what Norwich are doing. Keep the core of the squad together and absolutely smash the league. Well, it looks like they're going to smash the league and get promoted straight back to the Premier League anyway.
I said that's a great comparison, I think. I think you're spot on there.
Yeah.
They're about 7 points clear now, aren't they, Norwich?
Yeah, they're just winning pretty much every week, just making the gap even bigger to Brentford and Swansea. And as I said, I think Sheffield United will get relegated and they'll probably do the same, something similar anyway.
just going back to decisions and things that have not gone against sides, which obviously Sheffield United previously last year had the ghost goal. I think it was them, wasn't it? Or was that Villa? Or was it against Villa?
Villa had it against Sheffield United.
No. Okay, so they got the other way. But anyway, Brighton just seems to be on the right or bad side of luck at the minute.
Well, yeah, yes and no. You could look at it two ways. I mean,
I suppose you can't miss 2 penalties and expect to win a game.
yeah, there is that. But from the free kick stand point of view, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Really. I mean, it's a mess.
I completely agree with. If the referee's told Lewis Dunk that he can take the free kick and then decide that he can't take the free kick, that's the referee's problem.
Yeah, I don't understand why he would have taken it without permission, heard a whistle, still continued, and then come out in full time, ranting and raving, rightly so, with it not being allowed by the referee. So, again, just an absolute mess.
But the problem is, the referee gives the goal. He overturns his decision and then overturns his overturned decision. Like, what is he doing? Make your mind up.
VAR overturns that.
It took so long.
It took so long because Lee Mason couldn't think of a way of getting himself out of the crap, to be honest.
I'll disallow it, then I'll give it, and then I'll make VAR disallowed it.
It was shocking.
If anything sums up the current mess, it's that.
I was watching Gillette, and they were saying Sam Johnson's very lucky because he wasn't focusing on the actual free kick that should have been given, and that it would have been his fault for not being in correct position. They're not far above the relegation zone at all. And, well, I think they'll be safe because defensively they're solid. But you've got to take your chances, and they had plenty of chances. 2 penalties hitting the post and the bar. Like, you're not going to get away with that every week.
No,
They can't put the ball in the net. They cannot put the ball in the net.
I think I touched on it on the first episode. Just having Glenn Murray as your out and out. If he gets his head, he's one of those strikers. Doesn't do a lot, but he's in the right place at the right time. That's all he needs. That's why Billy Sharp made his own. I know, obviously, a few years ago, Billy Sharp was pretty good in the Championship, but he's just got that instinct, and I think they're just lacking a bit of that. Danny Welbeck's a good option for them. So is Mopé, so is McAllister, but it's clearly not working at the moment.
Why doesn't Mopé take their penalties?
Don't know. Gross has always been their penalty taker, I believe.
No, he missed some, didn't he, at the start of the season?
Did he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so he missed them, so they put Gross to take them, and then Gross then missed one. So that's why because they had 2 different players take the penalties, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they both missed.
Yeah, Welbeck took the second one.
That's it. So I guess if you miss a penalty for Brighton, then you're probably just taken straight off the duty.
Well, did you say that was like that for Leeds as well?
What, missing penalties?
Yeah, so like Klitsch missed one, didn't he? And then Bamford was on the next one, didn't you say?
Yeah, because Klitsch took the most outrageously bad penalty and missed it.
Oh.
There was one game, though, where he did that, missed it, and then got to take it again.
I remember that.
Yeah, I think I do.
But like his placement is usually decent, but his run-up is strange. And that's why he misses penalties, because sometimes he'll literally just roll it right into the keeper's arms, basically. But you want your strikers to be confident with taking penalties.
Just anyone, but he doesn't.
At least strike it with a conviction.
Yeah.
And Gross was still on the pitch. Even though he missed the first penalty, you want him to be going, do you know what, I'll take the next one and I'll score it.
Yeah, I agree, actually.
Yeah.
I agree. Did either of you see on Sunday the confrontation between Roy Keane and Jamie Redknapp?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And I'd recommend any of our listeners who have not seen that to go on YouTube and search for it, and you will be laughing.
Get some popcorn because you're going to need it because it's entertainment.
But the thing is, they're arguing, but they're sort of agreeing everything as well. So they're sort of saying, Roy Keane's saying, this player's not good enough. This player's not good enough. Wouldn't get in a top 4 side. And Redknapp's going, yeah, I agree. But don't you think because they're international footballers that they're not good players? And then he's going, anyone could play international football nowadays.
They just got to trap the ball.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's brilliant, though. I recommend all listeners to tune in and have a listen.
It did crack me up.
Roy Keane does not get fazed by anything. He just sits there and he's just so relaxed, and he loves it. He loves the arguments, doesn't he?
Redknapp was getting more anxious by the minute. He was getting more shittier, and his tone was well funny.
Well, he's definitely got a soft spot for Spurs, hasn't he? From what I could gather.
I wonder why.
Yeah. But But they were saying Kane and Son are quality, and it's true.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Roy would have agreed with Højbjerg. I think that's still
No,
up for debate. But they said Reguilon's quality, and he is,
he is.
and he would get into most teams. But what he said about Doherty not being worth that price tag, I absolutely agreed with.
Yeah,
And they are underperforming. But put all that aside, their performance on Sunday was decent. Bale has finally joined the party. I bet you two are loving that, aren't you?
Oh yeah, as soon as we got him in a couple of weeks.
They had a masterclass against you earlier on in the season.
Now, conveniently for them, they're playing at home instead of away their first game before they play us. Because both sides are due to be at home for one of the legs. It's now been switched, and Spurs are at home before they play us. So obviously we've got to travel.
We were both due to be away before the Spurs game.
Yeah.
And because we can't play at home together on the second leg, because we're successful in trophies, we get priority, obviously. So
yeah, as much as a pinch of salt, but it was quite nice to see Bale in the Premiership just doing his business. I hope he doesn't do it when it comes to a few weeks, but did enjoy it to some degree.
I think he just needed some time to get match fit, didn't he? I think
he was never given the real chance since he's arrived. No. I know he's had niggles, which is probably quite frustrating for a manager like Jose, who just thinks, for God's sake, sort yourself out as such. Yeah, never really got going until now, so let's wait and see on that. But
I bet they don't play. I bet they don't play half as near as attacking at our place as they did on Sunday.
No, I think they've got a little bit of a shadow over Burnley. I think I beat them 5-0. I think I heard them say last year.
I'd be very surprised if all three play against us.
And I'd prefer if Alli can sit on the bench just so he's not in Southgate's thoughts. Because I know that one will come around.
Hey, I don't know what you're on about. We're going to leave Maddison and Foden at home, and we're going to take Alli and Lingard.
Probably. I'll have to buy a few more cases of beer before I watch us against Scotland.
Get them kegs in.
Yeah, I'm saving up for July.
June.
Well, if we get to July, there'll be plenty of kegs.
There will. They'll all be empty. They'll all be empty by then, though.
Hopefully, because we'll be attending the semi-final, won't we, Lockie?
Yep. Tickets at the ready, mate.
Tickets at the ready. It's just that we can attend the Croatia game. That'll be lovely. And we will
Fingers crossed, mate.
Super Subs England versus Croatia special.
Oh, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yes, that would be very good.
That would certainly make the last 18 months, which will probably be by then, of terror.
Do we think Spurs' performance was a one-off? Because they smashed us and then went back to being absolutely average again. Do we think it's a one-off, or do we think they could now get a run of form together and challenge for Europe?
I think it will depend on their opponent. I've just looked at their fixtures. So they've got Fulham on Thursday.
They're not conceding too many.
No, they've got Fulham on Thursday. Then they've got Palace at the weekend, and then they've got Zagreb at home now, and then they play.
So you'd expect them to get 6 points from them 2 games, but a classic Spurs thing to do would be to get 2 points from them games or 4 points from them games.
Consistency is not for anyone this year, obviously, bar Manchester City. So if they do, then fair play to them. And obviously, I mean, as an Arsenal fan, if we were playing them 2, I'd probably take 4 points. So just knowing our rotten luck or rotten performances.
Hey, don't start dissing Arsenal. We're only 18. We're only 18 games away from equaling City's 20 wins in a row. You know.
Only.
Well, 2 in a row. Baby steps.
Baby steps. I think I had one of the pundits say that when Spurs lose, they lose well, and if they win, they win well. They never really do much of the in between. If they're rubbish, then they're rubbish.
But going back to the game on Sunday, I think the key to the game on Sunday was that they scored early.
Yeah.
Against Burnley, who we've got at the weekend. If you don't score early, you're in for a difficult afternoon because they're good defensively in general. And I think the fact that they managed to get a goal early meant that Burnley did have to come out a little bit. So, I mean, to go 1-0 up after 2 minutes, you're off to a good start then, and you're in control of the game.
Oh, yeah.
The other team does have to come out. So it did favour Spurs that they scored early, but that's credit to them. They got a goal early and started well.
You say about scoring early, didn't work well for Leicester.
Oh, don't. I mean, yeah, it was a great start for them, but Jesus, we've got to stop conceding early goals and making it hard for ourselves.
Just same old. Individual errors, silly mistakes, not concentrating. Just yeah.
I mean, why Mari just backed off and backed off and backed off? I will never know.
I think it just shows that no one was shouting at him. I think if someone had just said in his back, like, just go to the ball, go to the ball, go to the ball,
Yeah,
he probably would have done so. But because no one had clearly said anything, you just thought, well, I'm doing the right thing here
yeah.
because there's no one behind me. But you'd imagine being the left-sided centre back that at least one of you at least your other centre back is behind you or your right back. So why you haven't just glanced over your shoulder to have a look, I don't know. But
I think they showed a camera angle of the goal. Sorry, and by the time that Tielemans actually struck the ball, who was it? Vardy. He had a triangle of Arsenal players right next to him. So he had Luis behind him, he had Mari in front of him, and he had El Neni to the side of him.
yeah,
And neither Mari or El Neni decided that they were going to go to the ball.
yeah. And neither Leno or Louise
But
thought they would let
tell him,
their teammate know
yeah,
that they probably should close the ball down before he scores. But I mean, a pinch of salt again, I suppose, with in terms of we got the result and showed a bit of character, which was nice to see.
it was.
Um,
And our player of the season, Willian, stepped up yet again.
no, we shouldn't give him too much jib jab, I suppose. He,
He was.
we were 1-0 down, and between him and Pepe, they were the difference. To be fair, so
I must admit, once I saw the lineup, I thought, oh, I don't know if I want to bother watching this, but I'm glad I did.
yeah. When you sat there with your head in your hands after how many minutes, but yeah, a bit of character was nice, especially from what probably see a few faces that haven't had a lot of game time in the last few weeks. So certainly nice. But as Lucky said about Spurs, can we show consistency? What they're fighting for is probably the Europa League, and rightly so. So we've just got to keep them players going in case we need them. But it does give Mikel a few choices to make when the next round of Europa comes up.
Yep, definitely.
But there was a few just good moments. Like I say, Pepe probably one of his top two performances. I think he played obviously really well in one of the Europa League games, but in terms of his overall performance, it was probably yesterday where he sort of come to the pie, as Lucky likes to say.
Yeah, I thought he really stepped up.
Yeah, the more I see Cedric, the more I like him.
Yeah, I think he's just better than Bellerin at the moment, isn't he? I think he's better defensively. He offers us more going forward.
What I did notice is he was just a lot more composed. No, I'm not saying Bellerin isn't, and maybe I'm taking this away from Bellerin, but there was a few situations where I was just really impressed with his ball retention rather than just trying to go long. He managed to get his way out of a situation and beat the press, which is, as we know, is quite needed in modern football.
From a neutral perspective, I only watched the second half of the game, but I think Arsenal looked pretty comfortable. And after watching Leicester in the Europa League, I had a funny feeling that they might not get a result yesterday. But then when I saw it was 1-0 after 6 minutes, I thought, oh, same old Arsenal. But just watching Leicester without Maddison, they just don't look confident. And now they've lost Harvey Barnes as well. It's going to be a huge loss.
And Johnny Evans went off.
It's the wrong time of the season for them to be losing their biggest players.
Yeah.
Someone said it was Leicester's strongest starting 11. It had Iniacho in it. But he's not part of their strongest starting 11, is he?
Well, it was Maddison would have been his place, wouldn't he? So, but other than that, it was, I think.
Yeah, I think I threw my hat out there to say that Leicester, there's no reason why they can't do it. But I think this could be the start of a decline. Unfortunately,
Well, they did the same last season, didn't they?
Yeah, we mentioned that before as well. So I mean, I hope they don't, because I think they deserve it. They've not really whinged as much as some other managers, not being mentioned about injuries. They've just sort of gone with it. And Madison has come in from a big injury and has just sort of sliding quite well and got back into England form. But that's going to be difficult now.
I don't think there's any reason for them to panic just yet. I mean, they're 4 points ahead of West Ham, who are in fourth, and then they're 5 points ahead of Chelsea in fifth, and 6 points ahead of Liverpool in sixth. So there is a bit of a gap. But yeah, with them injuries, it isn't going to help them. But I would hope that they got top four sewn up by the last three games, because their last three games are United away, Chelsea away, and Spurs at home.
Well, their next three games, they've got Burnley, Brighton, and Sheffield United. So you definitely expect them to pick up points there. I mean, when we're saying about it could be the start of the decline, it could be, but their form before Slavia Prague was actually pretty decent. So if they can get Maddison back soon and just get Vardy scoring goals again, because he's not been as prolific recently either.
No.
They can still definitely get in the top 4, but they don't want to start dropping points against teams like Burnley and Brighton, because then that will knock the confidence then.
No, I agree. They could definitely go on a run, but I think, as it's been proven by Arsenal as an example, and Liverpool to some degree, if things are not clicking, it's very hard work to score against anyone, especially teams who are going to sit there, not do a lot, not try and do a lot because they want the points, and even more so when Leicester maybe are not going to be able to break teams down as well. If Barnes is not going past players, if Maddison's not in the pockets picking out Vardy, and you've just got Iheanacho who's struggled most of his Leicester career, bless him. So yeah, I just think they shouldn't be dropping points, but I can see it happening.
I think it could have happened at a worse time.
No, definitely not.
I think the more the season goes on, I think the strength of the squads will come into play, which is why I think Chelsea will end up getting in the top 4. I think their squad probably would say is second in the league behind, in terms of quality, and depth would be second in quality behind City. I don't know what you boys think.
In terms of depth, yeah, just again, all you have to do is look at the bench and see you've got Werner sat on the bench, got Abraham sat on the bench, got
He weren't even in the squad yesterday.
Oh really? I think Jorginho on the bench. So yeah. You'd have to agree with that. But again, that's down to obviously the money spent, really, isn't it? Ziyech on the bench, I suppose. And Ziyech played Havertz.
Ziyech played. Havertz was on the bench. Yeah. You look at them, and they spent 222 million in the summer.
It's a massive amount of money.
It's a massive amount of money.
Well, they were catching up from the season before, weren't they?
This is the thing. So obviously they had their embargo, didn't they? So they didn't spend any money, although they still managed to bring Kovacic in because they managed to get that done beforehand. But yet they were unable to buy players last season. Frank got them into the top 4, finished 4th last season. He got praise for that and said that he overachieved, blah blah blah. I'm not quite sure that's true because despite them not being able to spend, they still had a fairly good squad, if you ask me.
With Chelsea, you expect top 4 regardless. Like we could say the same for Arsenal or anyone. You, regardless of your squad, is what you expect, and that's why he hasn't got a job. So,
but I mean, they still have their centre midfield that played yesterday was there last season, for example. Azpilicueta was there. They still had their defence wasn't great, and they've added to that by bringing in Thiago Silva. But they still had a really good squad, I thought, last season, and they performed well. And he got them in the top 4, which is an achievement. But I'm not quite sure it was as good an achievement as it was made out to be, if you get what I mean.
No, yeah, it's clearly gone to sort of bite him in the arse as such.
But then that makes me wonder, the 222 million that they spent in the summer, was it Frank that bought them players, or was it Roman?
I don't think it was Frank, to be honest. He's not going to say no, is he? Let's put it that way.
You see these players at the clubs they were at before, and you know there's a lot of class there. So even if he didn't particularly want them players, he's definitely going to be happy that he's got them.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. You can't really argue with the quality that they brought in.
But then you can't expect a club like Chelsea to do that and expect Frank to turn it around in 6 months by adding Werner, Ziyech, Havertz to the front line and Thiago Silva to the back line. So it's easier said than done. Yeah, so it's easier said than done, really, isn't it? Definitely not the right way, but what do we expect from Chelsea? It seems to be the way that they like to work on their carousel merry-go-round.
But then, weirdly enough, it works for them. They've sacked managers for winning the Champions League previously, and
it's a strange system, but yeah, as you say, it seems to work somehow to get to the consistency that they need in terms of what's been shown this year and from the previous year before that, where seeing Liverpool just went toe-to-toe for about 30 games. I don't think they're going to be able to achieve that just by having someone in for every 18 months.
No. And I don't think they're going to be able to do it by overhauling this. Obviously, they're not going to. I would like to think that they're. But having said that, I saw a thing. They were linked with Haaland. They're going to go for Haaland in the summer for 68 million. I mean, it's going to cost a lot more than 68 million, but Yeah, I read that because that's apparently why Tammy's refusing to sign a contract, because if someone's going to come in, then he wants to play.
I thought Haaland was going to Ellen Road.
I think that's in the pipeline, but just in case he doesn't, there's plenty of other options for him.
I thought it was a shoo-in. I thought you had the name and number on the back of next season's shirt, Lockie.
Yeah, I've got it on pre-order, but
Pre-order.
If Willian scores the win in Europa League final against Spurs,
Yeah, I'll get his name on the back of next season's shirt.
I'll do it.
Only if he scores the winner
In the Europa League final.
in the Europa League final.
well, I don't think you've got to worry about that. You're not going to get through the next round, are you? So.
Well, hey, we owe Olympiacos one, I'll have you know.
Yeah, I think we'll probably give them a good battering.
And we've got 2 home legs. Didn't you know our new home is Olympiacos?
Probably played 2 there. Feels like home.
Exactly.
I think it could help. Yeah, it could help.
We played there last week at home.
God. Just going back to Chelsea slightly, I know we've obviously touched on a few sort of Gareth Southgate selections, etc. But one who's probably going to go is Mason Mount. I'm not sure on my feelings on him.
I like Mount. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I like Mount as well. I think he's quality.
I think he's quality.
Particular reasons?
So I think he gets a bit of a hard time because he gets compared to Foden, Grealish, Maddison, etc. But I think he's a completely different player to them. I think he could play. I think Declan Rice is going to play, but I think you could play him deeper.
Yeah, he could play next to a holding midfielder.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to compare him to Foden, Grealish, Maddison, etc. I think they should be in a category of their own.
So are we saying he's a box-to-box player?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would tend to agree. It
Yeah.
just seems the fact that he's been picked twice by 2 managers and consistently been playing, I think says the volumes. He just seems to do everything right, and he does seem to work hard.
He was one of Frank's best players. He was Frank's best player. We relied on him so much. And then when Tuchel comes in, he drops him for the first game. And then ever since, he's been an ever-present, and there's no coincidence to why that is. They're just a better side with him in it.
I think what also works in his favour is Gareth Southgate really rates him as well.
Yeah, and I can't understand why he gets so much criticism for it. Like, I'm not Southgate's biggest fan, as you two are fully aware. But I can't see why he's getting grief for picking Mount, to be honest.
No, he's clearly a class footballer.
I think the reason that is why is because of Gareth Southgate's previous tactical awareness and previous selections, i.e. playing 5 at the back with 2 holding midfielders. So where we have that abundance of attacking options and he doesn't, and he picks so-and-so picks Mount over so-and-so, then he's going to probably get criticised for not picking the other attacking option. I don't think it's personally attacking Mount to some degree, because as we said, for 2 full seasons now, including this one's a full season, he's been a regular present in a top 6 side. So there's no reason why the guy can't get picked. He's being trusted at a young age to do a job week in, week out, which he's doing. So yeah, I don't think it's a personal criticism of Mount. I think it's just people criticizing Southgate for picking Mount instead of so-and-so.
Yeah.
Because we have that abundance. I don't think people's agenda is that Mason Mount's playing, because as I'm sure we'll touch on some point in the new future, how difficult is it going to be to pick? I bet none of us will. If we all picked our own 11 before we start, I bet none of us are going to pick the same 11.
No, we're probably not going to get it right either.
No.
There's no right or wrong, is there? I suppose we've got a fairly.
No, but I'm saying I'll be very surprised if any of us pick the starting 11 against Croatia.
I mean, it's such a wealth of options, isn't there, really? Especially in the midfield.
Yeah, just all over the park, really. As we touched on, I think, last week on Ings and Lord Bamp. But they're probably not going when they're in a sniff, so let's wait and see. Plenty more games to go. If he's going on his current form, then Harvey Barnes, poor fella, has missed out big time.
Yeah, they said 6 weeks, didn't they, for him being out? Henderson's out for 12, isn't he?
Is it that much? Blimey.
I think so.
God,
Yeah.
Liverpool. Bless them.
To be honest with you guys, there's only one name for me, apart from Harry Kane, that's on the starting 11. That's John Stones. John Stones is back.
He's very much back here. Nice little tidy finish.
Oh, mate. Who needs Aguero when you've got Stones slotting into the corners like this? They scored 4 goals this season now.
I didn't even know Aguero was playing. He was that elusive.
Yeah, they were very, very lacklustre at the weekend, but as good sides do, they get over the line.
So you two will not be surprised to know I got myself into an argument on Twitter at the weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
No, not you.
Yeah, me.
No, I don't believe you.
Yeah. I started a right old ding dong on there. I did. So that Jake Humphrey put up after they won at the weekend. He put up a caption of all their 20 unbeaten victories on a row. He put the caption, "Bloody hell, we are watching greatness." So me being me, I chirped in. So I chirped in with, "No, what you're watching is money creating an unfair advantage in a league. Every other team is struggling with consistency this season because they're unable to rotate quality with quality like a cash-strapped City can do." And needless to say, I got a few bites. But I thought my point was valid. This season's like no other. You've got games after games after games, and sides are having to either rotate out of fatigue or injury. And then when teams do have to rotate, obviously the quality, understandably, goes down. Whereas City can afford to have £300 million worth of players on the bench at the weekend, and that's with God knows how many changes that they made. So my point was, it's not very surprising that they're doing outstanding this season with the quality that they've got to be able to rotate with.
No, you're right. As we just touched on the amount of money. Who is the second best team in terms of depth? Chelsea. And why is that? Because of how much they've spent. If you go down the list, who is bottom? Sheffield United. Because why? Because they probably spent the least. So
Exactly.
Yeah. The way you've worded it is very much seeing how many fishes you can hook, which is fair play. You caught a few big ones, so it worked well.
It's brilliant. I've got a couple of guys on here just having a conversation on my thing, because this guy said that Cancelo, Rodri and Walker are bang average, and this City fan is bitten like a right old fish. I'm not making out City are not a great side, because they are a very, very, very good side, and they've got very, very good players, and they've got a great manager. But what I'm saying is, don't be surprised about it, because the amount of quality and money that they've spent to get there.
It's my favourite time of the week. Lockie's Leeds legend. And today we will be talking about Mark Viduka. Mark Viduka signed from Celtic just before the 2001 season for just £6 million. At that time, we were in the best position we had been in for 10 years, finishing third the previous season, which meant we'd qualify for the Champions League. And after Mark Viduka had scored 30 goals in just 37 games for Celtic, it was clear that David O'Leary had signed a bagsman. During his first season, he scored 4 goals on the way to Leeds reaching the Champions League semi-final. But it was his cameo versus Liverpool I can never forget. At the time, we could easily compete with Liverpool, but we found ourselves 2-0 down just after 18 minutes. I was at my nan's house absolutely fuming that we were playing so bad, but then up stepped Mark Viduka, scored twice to get us back to 2-2. But then we were soon behind again, and I thought we're going to go on to lose the game. But up stepped Mark, scored his hat-trick, and then bagged again to make it 4-3. I will never forget that day, as it was definitely one of my finest memories as a Leeds fan. Another great memory is when Mark scored in the 88th minute to save us from relegation in the 2002-2003 season in a 3-2 win against Arsenal, which also stopped them having any chance of winning the league that season. Mark is the top goal scorer for Leeds, having scored 59 goals in 4 seasons. Not a bad return at all for a £6 million striker. Sorry about the little Arsenal dig there, but that was a fine memory. Thought we were going to get relegated that season, and up he stepped.
I was going to say you were doing well until then.
What a goal that was, though.
It was. Did he also scored? Was that the day he scored a hat-trick against us?
No, he didn't, but that was the day Harry Kewell scored an absolute banger from the left.
I swear Viduka scored a hat-trick against us before as well.
I remember another memory of mine, Mark Viduka. He scored a hat-trick in a 6-1 win versus Charlton. And a very close friend of mine is a Charlton fan, so I had a great time rubbing that into him as well. Basically, Mark Viduka, absolute goal machine, top Premier League goal scorer in Leeds' history. And, it's going to take years for anyone to overtake his tally.
Great shout this week, mate. Great shout.
Yeah, he's definitely got some really good goal compilations. I'm sure you can put him up anywhere and certainly get your fix of decent goals.
Would you say he's underrated, Lockie?
I think Leeds fans appreciate him.
I'm not sure he was underrated. I mean, no, I don't think any defender liked playing against him. And he definitely knew where the back of the net was. I mean, his goals did dry up in the last couple of seasons, but that was because the quality around him wasn't the same. Obviously, we had to sell a lot of players on. But, when the quality was there, he was just unreal.
For a big guy, he was very technically on the ball. He was very technical on the ball as well. And he wasn't one of these big guys that you just had to lump it up to and he wouldn't be able to control it. He had a touch on him.
Yeah. He was just a bit of an all-rounder for me.
Yeah.
Some of his goals were just at such key times. You could always rely on him. And I was really gutted when his last game he got sent off, and that was a day we got relegated as well in a 4-1 loss to Bolton. He did score, but then he got sent off, second yellow card. So it weren't the best way to end his Leeds career, but he was always on the way out anyway once we got relegated because he was too good for the Division 1 at the time.
Didn't he move on to Middlesbrough?
Yeah,
he did.
He did quite well for them as well, I believe. I think didn't they get to some European competition? Did they get into UEFA Cup?
Yeah, they got UEFA Cup, didn't they? They did well in that one season.
Yeah, he was part of their UEFA Cup team.
Who would you compare him to now? Or even say recent, because obviously it was quite a while ago, but in sort of recent times, who would we say?
How about Calvert-Lewin?
Yeah, in terms of his big overall centre forward play, yeah, I suppose so. I suppose nowadays they're also lean and muscular. I'm not saying Viduka wasn't, but he was quite a bit of a solid unit, wasn't he? I don't know.
Yeah.
Which you
don't really get that many types like that anymore.
No, not really. If you stuck him in centre back, he probably wouldn't look out of shape, if you get me, just because most of.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. No, well done, mate. Well done.
That was good. Enjoyed that.
Awesome. Good shout.
I enjoyed all the memories that he brought me as well as a teenager. Well,
yeah, I can imagine.
When we were at our best.
You were good back in the day, I'll give you that.
Still are, mate. Just taking a bit of time to adapt. I mean, you see Man City's record, wait until April.
What, you're going to win every game from now on, are you, mate?
No, we're going to beat them. No, I'm only joking. We're not. But...
Is that when you've got them? April?
Is that a prediction?
No.
I can jot it down early for you.
No prediction, mate.
I mean, did I do any better this week in predictions, Brett?
Well, let's have a look, shall we? Right. First of all, I would like to thank everybody who entered. We had a stunning response this week. We had a grand total of 10 entrants, including us three, obviously. I know, 10. Thank you, everyone, for entering, and please continue to join in. So, the results, I'm not going to lie, guys, it isn't great. I want to have a special mention to Jordan this week. I have a special thanks because he's joined me at the bottom of the leaderboard this week, saved me from being down there by myself.
Well done, Jordan.
So thank you, Jordan. I appreciate that. Me and Jordan got 2 points this week, so pitiful effort. Next came Liam.
Well, what a surprise.
Go bold or go home.
Or should I say Freddie's fingers? And toes, yeah. Sam and Johnny, all three had 3 points.
Pathetic.
Next, we have Ben on 4 points.
Well done, Ben. Did better than the football expert, Brett himself.
Oh, here we go.
Slight jib-jab to the ribs there.
And then we have Miles, Dave Tyler, and yourself, Lockie, on 5.
Hey.
You're consistent, mate, because you got 5 last week.
Yeah, but I got a correct score this week, so I was a bit disappointed.
You did. And our winner this week on 6 points is Chris Burt. So well done, Chris.
Done, mate.
Chris Burt coming in and smashing it up. I'll get you next week, Chris.
Not bad at all, especially for a Man United fan.
Yeah, well done, everybody. Thanks for getting involved again. Make sure you do again. I'll be hounding you on the socials if you don't.
So the games we've got this week, I've chosen Aston Villa at home to Wolves, Brighton at home to Leicester, Bayern Munich are at home to Dortmund, Liverpool Fulham, Atletico versus Real Madrid, Manchester City versus Manchester United, and finally Tottenham Hotspur versus Crystal Palace. So I'll do my predictions first, and then I'll come to Lockie, and then Liam last. So I've gone for 2-1 Villa win, 2-1 Leicester win, 3-1 Bayern win, 3-0 to Liverpool I've gone, Real Madrid to beat Atletico Madrid 2-1, Man City to beat Man United 2-0, and unfortunately I've gone Spurs to win 3-0 at home to Palace.
Right, Brett. Thank you very much. We have very, very similar predictions. I feel like you may have copied mine. They're so similar.
Except that I haven't even received them.
So I've gone Aston Villa 2, Wolves 1, Brighton 0, Leicester 2, Bayern Munich 3, Dortmund 1, Liverpool 2, Fulham 0, Atletico 0, Real Madrid 1, Man City 3, Man United 1, and I've also gone Tottenham 3, Crystal Palace 0. Freddie, over to you. I mean, Liam, over to you.
Oh, he's in bed, mate. Sorry, I won't make
We'll let you speak for him for this chat for a moment.
Right, I hope you trust me in this process. Villa 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Leicester City 2, Bayern Munich 3, Dortmund 2, Liverpool 2, Fulham 0. I think we're all in that. Atletico 1, Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 2, United 0 with Bruno Fernandes to not do anything. Spurs 2, Palace 1.
Beautifully done. So basically, we've pretty much all gone the same. So the other team is bound to win. So if you are going to put a bet on this weekend, take a note of these predictions and just go the opposite.
Yeah, but you say we've gone the same. There are some differences. So we may still get different correct scores.
Yeah, but I meant in terms of results.
I love the fact you finished bottom. That has made me so happy.
Oh, well, I'm glad I've pleased someone today.
Liam, I'm going to show you a bit more respect now.
Thank you, sir. So you should.
Did you get a correct score, though?
No.
Okay. Get your predictions in, guys. Can't wait to see them. Jordan's already got his in.
Yeah, I've got that down for next week. Thank you, Jordan. Let's aim a little bit higher this week, shall we?
Yeah, but I think he sort of shuts his eyes and just lifts up random fingers to pick his as well. So no surprise he finished bottom.
Did you guys happen to see the Dele Alli over a kick on Wednesday in Europa League?
Yes, mate. What a goal that was. What a finish.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to say, it was quite good.
I mean, I know they were playing a Sunday League team, but you still got to produce that quality, haven't you?
Yeah, he's always had a lot of decent moments in his locker, just when he chooses to use them.
He's had a weird old season, though, hasn't he? I mean, he's obviously fallen out with Jose, which is historically not difficult to do.
No,
but then he's starting to come back into the fray a little bit more. I mean, I think people forget he's really young as well, isn't he? Still.
Well, if you want to stake a claim to get back into the first team, that's the sort of goal you want to be scoring to say to the manager, look what I can do, and you're leaving me on the bench every week. It was outrageous.
Sometimes he didn't even bother getting that, did he?
But it's not just the overhead kick either. He also assisted one of the goals. He just played quality in that game.
Yeah.
You know, we all know what he's capable of. He's just not that consistent with it, is he?
I mean, it just goes to show he's made 7 appearances in the league this season, and that's it.
I think the last time he started was like back right at the beginning of the season as well. I think I heard on Sky.
I mean, I know he came on at the weekend, didn't he? He came on, but I think they were already 3 up.
I do love that overhead kick. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Giroud had one on the Tuesday, wasn't it? He scored the overhead against Atletico.
Yeah, what a goal that was as well. Such a great finish. But they tried ruling it out, didn't they? Saying it was offside, but it actually wasn't.
Yeah, they took their time with that as well, didn't they?
Yeah, went over to the touchline, had a bit of water, and then run back to the middle of the goal.
You don't want to see goals like that being ruled out, though, do you? Really?
It's a massive shame, but as they'd all say, they want the correct decision, I suppose. But
Well, they made the correct decision and they let the goal stand, which was great.
They
yeah,
did.
just a shame.
That happens in other instances so often.
I think it's a credit to him as a player as well. Going on to Giroud a little bit. I think almost he's been a bit underrated, undervalued. I think in his career. I mean, he's got obvious strengths and weaknesses. I mean, he's not the quickest striker or player in the world, and he never has been, and he never will be. But he definitely knows how to play to his strengths. I don't think there's a better striker in the Premiership at the moment that's better at making them runs to the near post and either getting them flick-ons into the net or headers.
His movement's very good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he knows what he's good at, and I think he knows what his limits are.
He also scored some very good goals for France. I think I remember a volley that for France.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he definitely wasn't appreciated enough at the Emirates.
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously it's difficult at Arsenal because I suppose at the time he was with us, we wasn't what I would call it our most successful period.
Yeah.
What he is very good at is linking play, bringing other players into play, and it's no surprise that he's still starting up front for Chelsea, is it really?
Not particularly, no. You can see why, and he's still scoring goals. Even Frank was sort of his go-to for a bit last year. So again, playing season on season for France and Chelsea.
Mate, the guy's made over 100 appearances for France. He scored 44 goals. That just says a lot about the man. I mean, look how good they are. World Cup winners,
Yeah.
Finalists of the Euros in 2016, and he's an integral part of the squad.
Yeah.
You can't take it away from him. He's had a great career. I mean, he was
Like
at
you said,
Montpellier when they won the league, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
who
where
expected that?
I think he joined us the season after, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. That is correct.
But yeah, I mean, you say he's just made over 100 appearances for France. You think of the amount of quality players that he would have been picked ahead of in that time.
Yep.
And I think that just shows that I think he has been underrated. I mean, he played for Arsenal for God knows how many games, and he's still making appearances for Chelsea at his age now.
Do you think he moves on, or what do you think he does?
I think he's getting to the end of his career now. So when his contract runs out, he's going to be wanting to play football. And if that means stepping down a little bit, I'm still sure maybe if it's not in England, somewhere in Europe, he'll be able to get in a decent team and still do a job. So it wouldn't surprise me if he went.
Is it his contract up in the summer, is it?
Something tells me it is. I don't know why. Correct me if I'm wrong, by all means.
I wouldn't be surprised. See, it's a very difficult one because I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea are offering him a new deal. But then again, it comes back to what Lockie's just said, that at his stage of his career, he's going to want to play football. Now, if they sign another striker, then they're going to have Giroud. Is he going to want to stay? Is Abraham going to want to stay? Obviously, they got Werner, but they seem to be playing Werner from the left.
Yeah, talking about Haaland as well. If they get someone else in because they want to spend their money, then can't see it.
The guy's 34 years old now. He hasn't got that much left in him, I shouldn't imagine.
No.
But for a 34-year-old, he is still world class.
I mean, I've just had a quick look. So he's 10 goals away from 100 in the Premier League. I mean, there ain't many players that's got 100 goals in the Premier League. I don't think he would struggle to find another club.
There'll be definitely offers.
Even in the Premiership, I mean, I'm sure he would have plenty of offers from Ligue 1 in France if he wanted to go back to France.
If it
Maybe America.
Stake his claim for international duties, then yeah, he might go back to France. I'd like him to stay.
I mean, his behaviour after the Baku was left a sour taste in my mouth a little bit, to be honest. But as a player, I criticise
No.
what he's bought for us over the years, and the Premiership in general, really.
Do you think he could go to like MLS or something?
Oh, definitely.
Have David Beckham knocking at the door, come play for us. But no, I'd like to see him stay in the Premier League. I'm just not sure where he goes.
I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I think he's got another year at the highest level left in him yet before he goes that route. I mean, it depends on how long he wants to keep on playing, but I don't know. Difficult one. But it's definitely one to keep an eye on because, like you said, he's still playing regularly for Chelsea. So
yeah, he always seems to be everyone's go-to because they can rely on him to get goals, link play, just purely from his experience.
I mean, unless Chelsea are going to go and spend big again in the summer, he would leave a hole there, I think, because I think he offers something that which Abraham and Werner don't.
I'm glad he's one of the strikers that I've got to witness in person in my lifetime as a football fan. I got to see him last season playing for Chelsea against Tottenham, and he scored a good goal there. As we said, I think he can still do a job in the Premier League. So if he stays at Chelsea, fair play to him. Hope he gets his opportunities. If he wants to keep scoring goals like he did in the Champions League, then I can't wait to watch him.
Yeah, looking forward to Champions League, and obviously the Europa League because we've got all the British sides that are in the Europa League, so that should be interesting.
And we all avoided each other.
Yeah, the roundup for the quarters should all the people go through. Obviously, we've got Roma and Shakhtar, which is sort of 50-50 really.
That's a 50-50 tie, that, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of saying that United should do Milan and Rangers. I'd like Rangers to keep going. It'd be nice to see them just sort of continue.
They'll beat Sparta. I think they'll beat Sparta Prague, but then I thought Leicester would beat Sparta Prague. So
yeah, that's true. Maybe we're underestimating Sparta, but yeah, it'd be nice to see a nice batch. I think we had it a few years, probably a long while ago now. I was probably a teenager, so very long while ago that we had like 4 of the British sides in the quarters of the Champions League, and that was quite nice. I think that was the year that United and Chelsea played in the final.
We could have a all-English Europa and Champions League final again.
Still hope. And then into the Euros, and then we're ready for summer.
And we'll win that as well.
3 Lions, football.
Can't wait. Get them
Wembley.
Get them tickets to me. Let's go.
Come on, Boris.
I think there's one thing we can all agree on. For next week's podcast, there's going to be a lot of football to talk about. I'm so excited. There's games every day, apart from Friday, in the Premier League.
Indeed, and we're going to sit here, give our analysis for the pros that we are.
And I only get to get upset about Arsenal once.
In 7 days.
In 7 days.
Wonderful news.
Well, unless we're recording on Tuesday, I don't have to be upset at all this time. Make it 4th time lucky.
We'll record straight after the Leeds game Monday night then, shall we?
Yeah, brilliant.
Might feel a bit sweaty.
I'm glad that's not in the predictions that game because my heart and my head may lead me in 2 very different directions.
Who have you got?
West Ham away.
Oh, big good game.
Yeah, my heart's saying Leeds are going to win, and my head's saying Leeds are going to win. But we see.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. I think we shall do a wrap.
It's been fun.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, some nice topics. Another awesome legend, probably the best one yet. Pulled the rabbit out of the hat.
When it's our top Premier League goal scorer of all time, it's going to be hard to beat that. But next week I'll try.
The Aussie legend.
We look forward to it.
Right.
Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. See you again soon.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.